absolute values. We'll first take a look at the geometric definition of the absolute value, which is the distance from 0 on the number line that the term, number, or variable is that is inside the absolute value sign. So the absolute value of a number is the total distance away from the 0 that the number is, and is represented by two straight lines on both sides of the number. So this right here, the absolute value of x is equal to the absolute value of negative x, because they both have a total distance from 0 on the number line of x. You cannot have a negative distance between 2 points, right? So from 0 to negative x, you have to go a total of x units along the number line to the left of 0. That's all the negative represents, is it's to the left of 0. And you have to go a total of x units from 0 to positive x as well. So the absolute value, again, is just the total distance from 0 to said term on the number line. That is why the absolute value is always positive, because it's distance. So that's the geometric definition. The mathematical definition is as follows. The absolute value of a positive number, x, is equal to x. The absolute value of a negative number, negative x, is equal to negative 1 times negative x. So if you have the absolute value of negative x, that's equal to negative 1 times negative x, which would then give the positive representation of this term. If we replace x with an actual number 7, the absolute value of negative 7 is equal to negative 1 times negative 7, which would be equal to 7. Right, so remember, the absolute value is always going to be positive because it represents the distance away from 0 on the number line. Okay, this is just a reminder of how to turn a negative term into the value that it represents. And that value is always going to be positive. Okay? Here's another way to represent that. In the absolute value of x is equal to negative 1 times negative x if x is less than 0. So if this were negative, as we saw a moment ago. Okay? So let me walk you through an example of an equation that includes an absolute value term. Solve for x and check the answer or answers. The absolute value of 3x plus 7 is equal to 13. So we're solving for x. Now remember, the term inside the absolute value can be negative or positive, but once you place it inside the absolute value signs, it is always going to have a positive value. But what if the term on the inside, before you place the absolute values around it, are negative? That means without the absolute value sign, this could possibly equal negative 13. So when you solve an equation that includes an absolute value term, you have to solve this expression for the negative value, negative 13 in this case, and the positive value, 13. So step 1, remove the absolute value signs from the expression. So when we do that, we're left with just what's between them, which is 3x plus 7. And step 2, set the expression equal to the negative value of the expression. So take the positive value that they gave you and multiply it by negative 1. And this is what we wind up with. 3x plus 7 is equal to negative 13. And now step 3, we want to solve for x. So we first start off by removing the constant positive 7 by subtracting 7 from both sides, leaving you with 3x on the left side and negative 13 minus 7, which is negative 20 on the right side. And then to remove this coefficient, positive 3, we need to divide both sides by positive 3, leaving us with x is equal to negative 20 over 3. All right, so this is one possible value. If the expression is equal to negative 13, we must solve this expression again for the positive value, which in this case would be positive 13. So step 4, set the expression equal to the positive value of the expression. And then step 5, solve for x once again. So we remove the constant positive 7 by subtracting 7 from both sides, leaving us with 3x on the left side and 13 minus 7, which is positive 6 on the right side. We then negate this coefficient, positive 3, by dividing both sides by positive 3, leaving us with x is equal to 6 over 3, which is equal to 2. So one of our answers was negative 20 over 3. The other was x is equal to 2. So the final step is to check the answers by plugging them into the original equation. The absolute value of 3x plus 7 is equal to 13. And we plug both those values in place of x. When we do that with negative 20 over 3, 3 times negative 20 over 3, our 3's cancel out, leaving us with negative 20 plus 7. Negative 20 plus 7 is equal to negative 13, and the absolute value of negative 13 is positive 13. So when we plug in negative 20 divided by 3 in place for x, we confirm that the left side has the same value as the number on the right side, thus confirming that our answer was correct. Now x can have more than one value, so we still need to check the second answer that we got. So when we plug 2 in for x, we get 3 times 2, which is 6. 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. The absolute value of 13 is equal to 13, confirming that the value on the left equals the value on the right, and also confirming that our second answer, x is equal to 2, was indeed correct. So that is how you would solve an equation that includes an absolute value sign. Let's wrap things up by having you practice a few questions. Solve for x and check the answers. Question number 1. The absolute value of negative 2x minus 5 is equal to 3. Question number 2. The absolute value of negative 7 minus x is equal to 25. And question number 3. The absolute value of negative 4x plus 3 is equal to 15. Pause the video for a moment, solve these questions, and then press play when you are ready. Step 1. Remove the absolute value signs from the expression, leaving you with just negative 2x minus 5 on the left side. And then step 2, set the expression equal to the negative value of the expression. The positive value is 3. The negative value would then be negative 3. And then step 3 is to solve for x. So since we're subtracting 5 on the same side as our x, we want to add 5 to negate it. Keep the equation balanced, so you add 5 to the right side as well, leaving you with negative 2x on the left side and negative 3 plus 5, which is positive 2 on the right side. And then to remove the coefficient negative 2, you divide both sides by negative 2, leaving us with x is equal to 2 divided by negative 2, which is x is equal to negative 1. So this is the first answer that we get for question number 1. Let's go ahead and find the second answer. So step 4, set the expression negative 2x minus 5 equal to the positive value of the expression. So now we keep our positive 3. And step 5 is to solve for x again. So we remove the constant negative 5 by adding 5 to both sides, leaving us with negative 2x on the left side and positive 8 on the right side. We can then negate this coefficient, negative 2, by dividing both sides by negative 2, leaving us with x is equal to 8 divided by negative 2, which is the same as x is equal to negative 4. Alright, so now we found our two potential answers. The last step is going to be to check the answers by plugging them into the original equation, which is the absolute value of negative 2x minus 5 is equal to 3. When we plug negative 1 in for x, we get negative 2 times negative 1, which is positive 2, minus 5. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. And the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. So this confirms that the value on the left equals the value on the right, and thus x is equal to -1. Let's check our second answer, -4. -2 times -4 is +8. 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. And the absolute value of 3 is 3. So we confirm that x is indeed equal to -4. Okay, so the answers for question 1, x is equal to -1 and x is equal to -4. Question number 2, the absolute value of -7 minus x is equal to 25. Step 1, remove the absolute value signs from the expression, leaving you with -7 minus x on the left side. Step 2, once again, set the expression equal to the negative value of the expression. The positive value, right, this expression is equal to +25, so the negative value would be -25. Step 3, solve for x. First, remove the constant. So -7 is negated by +7. What you do to the left, you do to the right. -25 plus 7 is -18. To remove this negative sign in front of the x, divide both sides by -1, or multiply both sides by -1. The result will still be x is equal to 18. So this is our first answer, x is equal to 18. Let's go ahead and solve for our second answer. Step 4, set the expression equal to the positive value of the expression. So that would be -7 minus x is equal to 25. And then step 5 is to solve for x. So we first want to remove our constant -7 by adding 7 to both sides, leaving us with -x on the left side and 25 plus 7, which is 32 on the right side. Divide both sides by -1, and you will get x is equal to -32. All right, so now the last step, step 6, check the answers by plugging them into the original equation, which is the absolute value of -7 minus x is equal to 25. -7 minus 18 will give us -25. The absolute value of -25 is +25. So we confirm that 25 is equal to 25, the value on the right side, thus also confirming that x is equal to 18. So this answer is correct. And then -32 was our second answer for x. -7 minus -32 is the same as -7 plus 32, plus, we turn that into. So -7 plus 32 is equal to +25. And the absolute value of 25 is 25. So we see that our second answer, x is equal to -32, is indeed correct. And then lastly, question number 3. The absolute value of -4x plus 3 is equal to 15. Step 1, remove the absolute value signs from the expression. So we wind up with just what's between them, -4x plus 3. Step 2, set the expression equal to the negative value of the expression. So instead of +15, it's -15. And then step 3, we want to solve for x. So to remove the constant on this side, +3, we subtract 3 from both sides, leaving us with -4x on the left side, and -15 minus 3, which is -18 on the right side. And then to remove the coefficient -4 from the x, we divide both sides by -4. So we wind up with x is equal to -18 divided by -4, which is the same as x is equal to 4.5. So this is our first answer. Let's solve x for our second value. So step 4, set the expression, -4x plus 3, equal to the positive value of the expression, which is the same number we're given, +15. And then step 5, solve for x. Remove the constant, +3, by subtracting 3 from both sides, leaving you with -4x on the left side, and 15 minus 3, which is 12 on the right side. And then Lastly, you negate the coefficient -4 by dividing both sides by -4. So you wind up with x is equal to 12 divided by -4, which is equivalent to x is equal to -3. And we can check both of these answers by plugging them into the original equation. -4x plus 3 is equal to 15. So we plug in 4.5 in for x, giving us -4 times 4.5, which is -18. -18 plus 3 is -15. And the absolute value of -15 is +15. So we are able to confirm that 15 equals 15. So x is equal to 4.5. And then we check our second answer. X is equal to -3. -4 times -3 is +12. 12 plus 3 is 15. The absolute value of 15 is equal to 15. And again, we can confirm that the answer we got was correct. And so x is also equal to -3.